Guys, welcome to the Florida Treasure Coast Market Update.
You better get fired up.
I want to start off by just saying thank you, man. Most of the people that are watching this either on Facebook or YouTube, you're in my community. You're in South Florida, Port St. Lucie, the Treasure Coast. Got into a car accident yesterday if you haven't seen it on my Facebook page, but I'm telling you, everybody's okay. The cars are a little banged up, but I was okay. The other driver was okay. Everything ended up being just fine. So I just want to say thank you for the outpouring of texts and Facebook DMs and calls, and you guys are just incredibly kind. And I just want to say thank you, man. It makes a guy feel pretty dang good. So I appreciate you. So today we're going to get into acreage. I want to show you guys, for those of you who are looking for an acre or more, how challenging is it? How rare is it? What does the price look like? And not just what are they asking, because I'll tell you, a lot of people are asking prices that are incredibly inflated. They're never going to get that price. Well, at least they're not going to get it in any, recent times here. So we'll look at solds too. So you can see what realistic buyers with realistical home appraisers were allowed to pay for that home. And the reason I say allowed is a lender's not going to allow you to pay some inflated price that doesn't hit the appraisal, right? With minor exceptions. There are reasons that they would. So it's much more accurate to look at sold prices than active prices. So let's do both. What I'm going to do here is let's go present, share screen, and I'm going to pull up our MLS. The MLS is exactly what a realtor can look at when they are doing research for their clients. You can see it here. This is exactly what it looks like. I'm going to come into quick search, and I'm going to look for homes that have acreage first, right? So there's a couple different ways to do it. Let's look at Port St. Lucie first. And the first way is to go add a field, and you can go this way, right? Where we actually type in the acreage. So we're going to look at 1 to 2 acres, 2 to 3, 4 to 5, basically all this. I'm not going to read them all, but there we go. All of these, right? So an acre more in Port St. Lucie, we've got a grand total of 9. Now I can tell you there's possibly more than 9. We'll take a look at that in just a second, but we've got 9 here. Okay. So I'm coming into list view. Let's see, where do those prices range? I can see they range from 179. I know exactly what that is, and that's not an acre, up to 2.2 million. Okay. So I'll tell you right now, this one at 43 West Caribbean, that's in Spanish Lakes. That realtor chose to count all of the land within Spanish Lakes for that lot, which you do not have access to all that land. You're not able to use all that land. So we're not going to look at that one because that one does not make sense, right? So let's look at the next 8. We've got 8 total, okay? Square footage wise, you can see one is an 840 square foot home. Then we've got 2 at 1839 and 1996. They're under 2,000 square feet. We've got 3 hovering just above 2,000 square feet at 2170, 2168, and 2240. And then the other 2 properties that are 1.4 and 2.2 million are both at 42 and 4,700 square feet. Those are some pretty big, spacious homes, right? How big are these lots? Well, first of all, you can see this one right here for 565. It's 8,150. You might say, well, what does 8,150 mean in square footage? You take 8,150 and you divide it by an acre, which is 43,560, and you can see, oh, I don't think you can see my calculator right now, but I'm telling you, it's 1.84 acres, right? The next one is 528,818 square feet. When I divide that by 43,560, I'm going to guess it's about 12 or 13. It is 12.14 acres. The next one you can see is 57,000. That's a little over an acre. 540, again, that's probably 12, 13 acres. I'm going to skip this one. We'll come back to it. You've got 213,000 square feet. Let's do the math on that. 213,880 divided by 43,560. You're looking at 4.91 acres. And then these 2 at the bottom are just barely over that 43,560 mark. So, they're whatever it is, 1.1, 1.2 acres, just over an acre, right? So you've got 8 options. And you can see, with the exception of this one, they're all 7.25 and higher. Okay. And the one, let's take a look at just some of the photos here. Okay. So here's what you get for 564. You get a gate, which is Great. Looks like they got a nice driveway, decent landscaping. You can see that these lots are a little bit more spaced out, which is nice. There you go. There's the roof line. Let's get inside. Okay, so this looks like a concrete house. Okay, there's your backyard. You got a nice patio in the back. It's got dated tile, but it looks like it's in good condition. I don't see any cracks or any major. I can see some issues here in the bottom here. Yeah, okay. Well, it's hard to tell if that is that damage or is it the way the light's shining? It's hard to tell. So the kitchen's dated, but again, and it's really hard to see from photos. But from what I'm seeing, I don't see any damage. I'm guessing because I'm seeing that spotty look on the tile in this photo, that's the way the tile is supposed to look, and it's not damage. This just looks like, yeah, this looks good. Again, a little dated, but it looks like a decent home in decent condition, right? Not bad at all. You're paying for the acreage here. So again, that's 2,170 square feet. It's a 4-bed, 2-bath. Where is it at? Let's pull up this map. You can see right here is 95. It is just to the west of 95, almost up to 70 or Okeechobee Road, right? So it's pretty far in the northwest section there of Port St. Lucie. So then my question is, okay, you've got 8 of them. 8 out of how many? Let's come back to edit search and get rid of the lot description, which is all that acreage. It's 8 out of 1161. So when I go 8 divided by 1161, that's 0.69%. Okay. So that's what is that? 6.9, or let's just say 7 out of 1,000 homes will have an acre or more in Port St. Lucie. I'm from Minnesota. That's crazy. There's a lot of acreage up in Minnesota. But down here, this is a place everybody wants to be. It's a populated area. So we chunk everything up into 80 by 125 lots. It's tougher to find. So what you see is you see a lot of buyers who want to get the acreage, and they don't mind paying a reasonable amount more for the acreage. But you've got sellers who know that challenge for buyers, and they want to ask for numbers that are astronomical compared to what we've seen sales go for in the past. And it tends, but not always, it tends to create that challenge of matching up a reasonable seller with a reasonable buyer, getting them in contract, and then finding a lender who's going to send an appraiser to actually agree upon that price. That's the challenge when you're talking about acreage. But let's get outside of Port St. Lucie here for a second. And instead, let's delete that. Let's look at Fort Pierce. Let's see what we can find in Fort Pierce. Hey, how many we got now? So we got 460 active residential listings in Fort Pierce. And when I say it's got to be an acre or more, we've got 34 out of 460. So I want you to see the drastic difference. That's 7.4%. We went from 0.69 to 7.4, right? That's more than 10 times, percentage-wise, 10 times the amount of the total actives that actually have an acre or more. That's a lot, which is phenomenal, right? So let's come in here. Let's see what some of these prices are. Okay, so we're starting out. I'm wondering, let me go over here. We'll see. Let's see what some of these look like. So sometimes I question, yeah, this one's tough to see, but I can see a house right behind it. Again, I highly doubt that is accurate there. I think they're probably counting the entire subdivision. This one looks a little bit more realistic. Let's look at these photos. We're on the water. Beautiful, beautiful. Okay, so we don't know exactly where the lot is. Hopefully the next photo or one of these photos will show the lot lines. Okay, there's your home. Small home, cute home, but if you want acreage, a lot of people who really need the acreage aren't going to care. This home doesn't look like it's in horrible condition. It definitely looks a little pieced together. It looks dated, but it doesn't look like it's in bad condition at all, right? Some minor aesthetic issues. Again, you don't know from photos. I'm looking for a photo that shows the overhead and has the yellow lines on it. I don't think I'm going to see it. No, I'm not going to see it. So, but let's go back to list and see how big is it saying that lot is. It's almost 2 acres at 83,635 square feet, right? But that one is 449, and that's the third cheapest. Okay, let's look at 3 more and see what you can get. By the way, these next 3 are going to be, this one doesn't say. I know it's bigger than an acre, but it doesn't tell me what the square footage is. Guys, I would tell you too, when you get a realtor, make sure that all the data is added correctly by going on and looking. Here, if I'm searching by lot square footage, which luckily I'm not, I would not find that listing for my client, right? So you would lose a showing. So make sure you get that in there. But we're going to let's look at these two where we do know. 43,560 into 119,790 is, okay, so the first one is 2.75 acres, and the second one is going to be an acre, and they are almost exactly 500,000 each. Let's see what 500 grand. Here's your 2.75 acres, okay? All right. Yeah, this looks like what acreage people would want. And again, if you're willing to go to Fort Pierce, which I know it's a little bit further from, Fort Lauderdale, West Palm Beach, Port St. Lucie, but you're able to get that acreage, which is nice. Here's the one that's got almost exactly an acre, just a hair more. Cute little pace. You got an outbuilding. Looks like the neighbor has a big lot, which makes your lot feel bigger. Woo! That inside is updated. That is loud and proud. This does look saleable, though. People would like that. Yeah. I don't know if that fits the wants of a person who wants acreage, but I'm guessing you can see this mowed area around the house. I'm guessing the lot is a hair bigger than that, but not a lot bigger. But you do have a little bit of acreage, and you're able to stay under 500 grand. So with the exception of, again, I'm not going to count that top one. Out of these 34, you've got 5 options that are going to be 500 grand or less, right? And then you can go all the way up to, you can see you got 5.2 million, 3.3 million, 3 million, 2.9, 2.8, 2.8. You got a lot of different options, but a lot of them are more expensive than people are looking for. So let's do one more thing before I do. I want to, whoops, that's not what I wanted. What happened here? Let's try back. Did I mess it up? I bet I did. Okay, looks like we're going to redo that search, which isn't a problem. This time, what I want to do is Okeechobee. Okay, let's take a look at Okeechobee. Okeechobee's big. So when you go look at these in Okeechobee, you don't know if you're going to be 20 minutes out of town, an hour out of town. You're not 100% sure. So we'll kind of look at the map on some of these as well. Did I get them all? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, we got them all. So you've got 22 options, and that's out of 85. That's a little over 25%. That's a lot. So if you're willing to go to Okeechobee, you get a lot. So remember what I said, like, look at some of these on the east side of Okeechobee. They're going to be a little bit closer to Port St. Lucie. But you've got that one way up north, and you've got those two way northwest, and you've got the one down by Buckhead Ridge on the west side of the lake there on the bottom left. Those are going to be a little bit further away, right? So you've got some distance to contend with. Some people don't care. Some people are fine with that. A lot of these two, I'm guessing, especially on the lower end, are going to be modular homes. And with modular homes, I can see right here, manufactured. There's a certain date that if it was made before that date, funding is challenging. So we're looking at dates. So a lot of times the ones that we see staying on are the ones that are before that date. Now this one's an 89, so this one I think you'd be fine on. And let's go back here. This one's doesn't tell me the square footage. Okay. Let's take a look at these photos though. So here you got a modular. You're under $200,000. Woo, these are some rough photos, but you've got the acreage you're looking for, right? You've got the ability to put animals out there, and you're doing it for 160. Let's look at what you can get for 170. Again, I can see a house back there on the back left. Otherwise, that's about it. Is it smaller? Is it modular? Sure. But you've got to kind of decide what's most important to you, right? Is it land? Is it price? Or is it the house? And there's no wrong answer. It's just looking at that objectively. Okay, so here we go. We got another modular. And I'm going to run through these photos quickly. They do have nicer flooring. Yeah, I don't see any neighbors. This is what people with acreage want. So let's go back. You can kind of see what we're dealing with here. And let's see what the, so that's 305. and they've got 224,000 square feet, which comes out to 5.15 acres. Okay. If you come up to 375, we'll look at two more, a 375 and a 380. Here's a 375. So it's a little dated, but I don't see any major condition concerns. The carpet actually looks pretty decent. Tile looks pretty decent. It's hard to tell from the photo there. Comes with a hot tub. You got a detached garage, right? And how big is that lot? Did it tell us? Yeah, that one is 1,000. This is going to be about 2.5 acres, right? And then here's one at 380. This will be the last one we look at. And then I want to go look at sold prices. Okay, this is the photo I love. So you're not able to see the inside of the house, which is a bummer, but you can see you've got almost a perfect rectangular lot here. Okay. And you can see all the green around you. You don't have a lot of neighbors. And being in Okeechobee, it's not that you never will, but it's going to be some years before you do, right? And you're able to get that for 380. But again, you're not able to really see what's inside. All you can see is that's a modular home kind of out in the middle of nowhere. So now let's come back, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to go Okeechobee, and we're going to add Port St. Lucie, and I'm going to add Fort Pierce. Okay. And we're going to look at solds, and I'm going to look at 2 months. Well, let's go back to 4-1. That's like a month and a half almost, maybe a month and a third. So we got 16 sales of an acre or more, okay? And when I hit view results, does it tell me, do I have a city here? I don't think I do. Okeechobee, they're all Okeechobee. Let's see, the first, how many is that? 7 out of 16 are Okeechobee, and then 8 out of 16. So half are Okeechobee, 4 are Fort Pierce, and 4 are Port St. Lucie. That honestly surprises me. I thought there'd be 1 or 2 in Port St. Lucie. So let's see. This one sold for 160. Let's see what it looks like. Okay. So this is what 160 gets you. You got a modular home. The inside definitely looks better than the outside. I don't see any major issues with, maintenance, taking care of the property. And that property was almost exactly an acre. Okay. I'm going to skip up to 230 because this one doesn't tell me how many square footage is on that lot. This is 169. So this is going to be like 3.5, 4 acres, somewhere in there. And this went for 230. Oh, great photos. Here we go. Oh, no, we're still getting the little ones. So you get I can't tell if it's a modular. You got a little outbuilding. This one looks like it's in good condition. It's hard to tell though because of the way the photos are. Man, guys, get yourself a photographer. Holy smokes. Okay, this one's 242. Let me see if I can see the acreage though. Yeah, so this is a hair bigger than an acre. Maybe 1.2 acres, 1.3, something like that. And look at this one. I want you to kind of guess the price before we take a look at it, unless you already saw it. But they made a deck out front. They got some steps going up to the stairs there. They've got the detached shed, right? Lots of space. I don't see any neighbors. The inside looks pretty well maintained. I don't see any major issues at all. It's kind of cute. They got chrome molding in there. Looks pretty updated, honestly. Not bad at all. There you can see the layout. Okay. And that went for 242,550. Here's another one in Okeechobee. This will be the last one we look at in Okeechobee, and then we'll swing over to Fort Pierce. I believe this one was for 249, but we'll double check. It looks like a modular. It's got a metal roof, which is nice. It's got a 1 stall on the left and a 2 stall garage to the right. Got a circular driveway. Inside looks cute. Again, some people won't do modulars, and I get it. But if you want the acreage, that's where not only your options are going to be, but your most affordable options, right? So if price isn't an issue, you're willing to spend $700,000, $800,000, $900,000, sure, you can find something. But if you're trying to stay in that maybe 150 to 350 range, the majority are going to be modular homes. So there you go. So that one again has Oh, they didn't list their square footage either, but it's over an acre, went for 249. So let's see if we're going to swing into Fort Pierce. The cheapest one we could have gotten in the last roughly 40 days is this one for 350 here on Willis. I'm going to, where is it? So this says 2 to 3 acres. And here you go. Again, this is 350. It's got a pool. It's got a pool. This is pretty nice. I mean, I don't know what the inside looks like, but look at that lot. Look at how much you've got behind you for your kids, animals, all kinds of things. Privacy. Little pond on the back left, which I assume is not yours. It's probably a neighbor's. You can see the pond to the right, which again is probably a neighbor's. On this side, you can see you've got neighbors pretty close to you, but you've got a nice big backyard. Pool doesn't look horrible. Again, it's tough to tell from photos, but inside doesn't look bad. I don't see a necessity to rip out the carpet. I can see a little stain on that carpet in the back left. Yeah, but I mean, again, you're getting acreage and you're at 350, right? And you got a pool. So coming back down, the next one is also in Fort Pierce, 437.5. And this one is 1 to 2 acres. Oh, that's a cute main photo. I kind of like that. Okay, there you go. It's got a metal roof, carport, no garage. But you do got, what is it, a 2-3 car carport? That's a good size carport. Cute landscaping, cute inside. This is a cute place, man. I really like this one. I want to see if we can see the lot, which I'm guessing is going to be at the. This is a beautiful place. Oh, look at that backyard, man. Yeah, I dig this one. Okay, so there you go. There you go. That's the photo we like. So you got a nice big backyard. If you've got kids, something like that. And look at your neighbor's yard. Look at the one to the right. You can see the house up front, and they got a big backyard. To the left, you don't see anything, right? Doesn't mean there's nothing over there, but you've got some space, which is great. Well, now you can see. I don't see anything over there. Yeah, this is phenomenal. This is phenomenal. So there you go. But what does that cost? Again, you're at 437. Okay, now you're telling me, Joe, we want to be in Port St. Lucie, man, but we want acreage. Okay, the cheapest one is going to be 6.25. The next cheapest is 787. 6.25 gets you a little over 2 acres. 787 gets you almost exactly an acre. So here's a little over 2 acres. Now this one is in Sable Creek. All right, so this is a nice community over there on the west side. That's beautiful. Metal roof. This is going to be a nice house. You got a screen pool. Yeah, this is gorgeous. This is gorgeous. I'm willing to bet you've probably got, I don't know, 23, 24, 2,500 square feet or more. We'll take a look here in a second. Yeah, and then you got the clubhouse and everything. Square footage wise, that one is at 2,240. Okay, and then the next cheapest is 787. And again, that's an acre, and it's 2,151 square feet. And this is in Reserve Plantation. Okay, so on a map, you can see it's kind of the northwest side of Port St. Lucie, just to the west of 95. That's a beautiful backyard. That's a beautiful front yard. That's a beautiful roof. Nice landscape. Oh, that is beautiful. I like this place. But again, you're paying $787 for this, right? It's a little bit pricier. And it's not like you got 10 acres or even 5 acres. You got 1 acre. But this is a gorgeous place. Okay. But guys, there you go. Now you got a feel for kind of what to expect when you're looking for acreage in the surrounding areas. If you're willing to go to Okeechobee, you're going to have more options. If you're willing to go to Fort Pierce, it's going to open up options. If you're stuck with Port St. Lucie, not only are your options limited, again, we only had 4 sales with an acre or more since April 1st, which is almost a month and a half ago, right? There aren't a lot of sales. And again, even though there are for sales, there are more options, but those people usually are wildly overpriced. So it's a challenging sale. You're definitely going to want someone who is experienced in this, someone who understands the prices, someone who can communicate the values to you before you move forward. The last thing you want is you and the seller agree on a price, the appraisal comes back short because we overvalued the property and now we got a loan that falls apart. So really getting in there and making sense of the prices is critical. Guys, I appreciate you joining me. Again, if you've got any comments or anything, whether you're watching on Facebook or on YouTube, put them in there and I will always get back to you. Have a phenomenal rest of your week.